let's see what we get. Give me 1 sec. This is strange. You have like a weird death here coming through, is like the way I need to kind of process this. Whoever this was, and it would have been a female, not a male. I'm also seeing music signs. This is interesting the way this comes across. She's having like, what is this? She'll like joke. This is weird. I don't know what it is. She's like doing this weird hand thing with me. It's like a funny, like a weird, she's just being silly. It's like a funny, random, like silly, like she's.
Is she loud?
She's very, very direct the way this comes across. Someone might go by a nickname. I'm getting a reference to, it's like a name I've never heard before. It'd be like a really unique one.
I think we all know what's going on. Well, most of us.
I don't know this name, but it's funny because she's the type that could have given advice and told everyone, like, get out of that relationship, he's not good for you. But when it came to getting that advice herself, it was much harder.
Oh, that's so true. We used to have to argue for hours. She is not lying. I used to be like, and then she would tell me, well, I just had to argue with you to get my point across. And she was like, I knew an hour ago that you was right. I'm like, what are you doing to me?
That's Lisa.
Yeah. But there is a reference to South America and South American countries. Do you know if she had visited at any point Central America, from your knowledge?
Honduras.
Okay. And then she's referencing to a car accident. And this is interesting because she's placing these two together, but she's having me acknowledge that if this had happened in a different country, this wouldn't have happened. But I wouldn't think that it would happen to me in the States. So the reason why I'm going to describe this is if someone is not familiar with the way that we drive in a different country, and as a result we die, had we been on the road and perfectly capable, we might have been able to manage in the United States, you know, somewhere where we might have
I
been
know what
familiar.
you're talking about because it was only 2 lanes.
Right.
When she got in the car wreck.
Right.
And it's the way that the roads are.
Right. Interesting. Okay. She's just, from her perspective, happy that no one else was killed in this incident. She's more focused on others and their well-being. Unique.
And it was
kind of
8 people in the car, and
Okay.
she's the only one who died. Everybody could have. A lot of people got hurt.
Right.
Bad.
Right.
But she's the only one who
She's the
didn't
only
make it.
one. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Everything you said, you were dead on. Like, she was in the car in Honduras, and the road was weird.
I'm so sorry. Oftentimes it helps to have like objects around. So did you bring any objects
Yeah,
today?
objects and photos and
Awesome. I love it. Great. There's that one. That one. Go there, there, there. I feel like I'm gonna hold on to this. Let's see. We'll see who comes through. This is odd. Just check and see if there was like a funny story about someone being under the influence of alcohol, and like, I feel like I go from a high point to a low point, but it's not falling on the ground, it's like falling from a higher height. So it's coming in, and it's like a memory of a situation where I don't know if someone's like drunk and they like, but I'm like falling, like I'm not just like tripping. I'm like,
I know exactly what you're talking about. That's so funny.
So what would be the relevance of that story?
That's my buddy Brandon. He actually just passed away last week, and we had a memorial for him on Tuesday, actually. I just found out the other day, when they were younger, he was hanging out on the roof with his friends, and I guess, like, you know, he was running from the cops or whatever, and he jumped on his neighbor's roof, and he went through the skylight, and he landed in the bed with the couple. They were in bed, so he fell through the skylight and, like, broke his leg and stuff like that, and he was all messed up. I'm like, yeah, so it's
Right.
Yeah. So everyone was at the memorial, and we all celebrated his life, and that's where I heard the story of where he fell. When Tyler brought up somebody falling, you know, from a high thing, and he said he was laughing about it, you know, and it's something that I just learned the other day at the memorial. And for Brandon showing up today definitely meant a lot, because it just shows that we were really good friends, you know, so.
As of right now, I have one man coming through who I can tell is an individual who is not family, and he actually passed away at a premature age. But he's doing this to me, and when they do this, it's their way of acknowledging that they take accountability for their passing or what caused them to transition. Now this man, I can tell, comes across very like creative, kind of an energy of like very brilliant mind. The thing with this is they're showing me double-edged sword, double-edged sword, double-edged sword. So when they do that, that's their way of usually acknowledging that whatever good quality they had also might have been the thing that caused some torment internally.
Right.
So do you know of any situations pertinent to an individual dying at a premature age and contributing to their own passing.
Yeah, the owner of the restaurant.
Okay.
He
Gotcha.
was a friend of mine.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And he was very creative.
Right, like brilliant mind in the way this comes
Brilliant.
across.
But his own worst enemy in a way.
Yeah, that's hard. It's a double-edged sword, sometimes being a brilliant, creative person. And in the way this comes in, he's having me acknowledge, like, he actually took his life.
Life was a cabaret for Jean-Claude. He was a man who liked to put on a great show. But you could tell there was a certain amount of sadness there and loneliness, But I'm sure a lot of people didn't even realize, so it was a surprise when he passed.
And it's hard, because when people pass in that way, we're left wondering, well, what could we have done different?
Right.
And things like that. But
yeah, how come I didn't know how dark it was for him in there?
Yeah, but I think, honestly, when he comes through, he just needs everyone to know with this that nothing could have been done differently for him. He does not feel alone anymore. He comes through absolutely lovely, feeling very free is the way that I would describe this. Like, I feel like I'm free, I'm free, I'm free.
When Tyler said that, don't worry about Jean-Claude, he's good, he's happy. That made me so happy, because it just took, because I felt so bad about not being closer to him and when he probably needed me the most. You get caught up in your lives and people fall off in between the cracks and you can't always save them.
That was a gift.
Great. Okay. There's a weird reference to an individual who died tragically at like a very early age that I would have to highlight.
Oh my God, I mean,
Of course, it's sad in any case where there's a tragedy with this, but from her perspective, the amount of life that she had inside of her was intense in the way that it comes across of like, I'm a force.
Yeah,
and she comes through in that way of like, I'm a force. Like if she walks in the room, I feel like everyone looks at her. It's like when she's coming through, it's like, I'm coming in. And it's like fabulous.
Incredible. I knew exactly who Tyler was connecting with. And of course, when I gave Tyler the ring, he almost immediately characterized her exactly how she was and was so on point that I felt her presence.
It seems such like a heavy, like, sensation. But this is a woman that is acknowledging this feeling. The acknowledgement is like, there's no way to get through this. This just happens. But I'm viewing it as tragic. When people are old and they pass, they don't view that as tragic. When people are young and they pass, they view it as tragic.
It's sort of a little bit overwhelming when you.
But do you know of anyone who would fit that bill?
Yeah.
Wow.
Girlfriend. Her name's Carolyn. Tyler was connecting with Carolyn Bassett, who was my closest friend and also my cousin by marriage. My late husband, Anthony, and his cousin, John Kennedy, was married to Carolyn. So she was Carolyn Bassett Kennedy. So not only were we friends, but we were family. But I didn't get this sense at all that he knew who she was.
Do you have any questions or anything along those lines?
There was something I had to ask you about was these photos that I brought.
Oh, great.
So my friend Billy, my best friend in the whole entire world, he passed away about 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Now this was like my best friend, and we did everything together and stuff like that. And he passed in a motorcycle accident, and we were together all the time. And so it's like I don't know if there's anything that you see, the way he died. How do you go living your life one day with him every single day, then all of a sudden, you live life without him, and I don't talk to anybody about this because I'm a public figure, but I'm private in that aspect.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, I'll just kind of let you know if I feel anything that kind of fits that bill, and we'll just kind of go down a couple things real quick and see if anything connects. There is a visual that's coming through. Feeling is, if I were turning, I would be fine. But I'm up straight. And this is the weird thing in the way this is coming across. I don't have the time to be able to correct anything that would have gone wrong. And the feeling is the center of balance isn't at the center of the vehicle. It's almost like if someone's veering or turning and it's more on one side or more on the other, and we can't adjust quick enough. The focus is almost like I don't have the balance.
Okay. So I'm shaking right now. I hear you say that. That's exactly what happened.